Greetings everyone, I'm ready to go ahead and get started, so we will switch over to the gaming tab and get going. Hey everybody, it's been a little while since I have been able to stream Helltaker Second Circle. For a while there I was doing it pretty regularly weekly. I did have to take a break, at least last week. But now we're getting right back into it. We're at part 5 of my playthrough. It is a visual novel, and it's rather lengthy, despite being a fan project. I've got some other good news for you, too. First off, I did go into VTube Studio and fiddle around with the settings a little bit, and I was actually able to get my model working with the higher resolution camera again, without just going crazy. So we'll be operating with a higher resolution, and that'll improve tracking just a little bit. I don't know if you need to see behind the curtain that way, but it's good news for me at least. Not sure what's causing my computer to mess up that way sometimes. The other piece of good news is I looked up how to do Beelzebub stories, and I don't feel guilty about doing that because it's basically impossible to figure out how to do it otherwise. So if we have time, we may start Beelzebub stuff. It's very well hidden, very tucked in there as far as content goes. But I think we'll be plenty busy with 3 stories still to go, and most of them pretty plot heavy. We'll probably go for the usual, somewhere between 2 or 3 hours. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Oh, I do have one more thing to say. We have since we are reading a visual novel, if you like visual novels, I urge you to check out my prologue, which is for a Danganronpa visual novel. It's about 30 minutes long, and it is the fruit of maybe a quarter of last year working on it. Just the prologue for now, but if you like Danganronpa or you like visual novels, you might like it. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this Second Circle though. Near the end of the stream, I'll link where you can download Second Circle if you want to play it for yourself. If you're interested in just the content, you can also check out the VODs on my channel, which has everything up to this point. Alright, let's get to it. So last time we had just finished doing Azazel's story. It was a pretty weird one. We got a special treat of seeing a sort of mythical angel version of Azazel. That is the whole tons of wings, tons of eyes, tons of floaty rings, that kind of end boss look that some people prefer on their angels. So if you're a fan of that sort of thing, it was a real treat last time. I think I'm going to, let me expand myself a little bit. I don't think I'm at my usual size. Enhance, and then move myself up a little bit. Okay, that should be alright. Okay, let's get to it. We're going to do Justice next. This is the 3rd part of her story. It's been a little bit less connected to the others as far as like plot goes, but it's been entertaining all the same. We'll see if she kind of ties herself into the plot this time. Also, hey, yeah, right now we're just vibing to Vitality, the famous song from Helltaker. The one-song soundtrack, as it were. Yeah, what we're playing today is Helltaker Second Circle. It's a visual novel that's a fan project based on the original Helltaker, which is more of a puzzle game. I'm a fan of both. Alright, let's get rolling. Oh, really? The beta of the original Helltaker or of Second Circle? Yeah, I really like the art style. I draw the characters pretty often myself. Oh, really? Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I got into it a little late. I think by the time I got into it, they already had like the second dates rolling and everything like that. Alright, let us read. Even though it's just a trip to the hobby shop, you find yourself unusually nervous for your upcoming date with Justice. So nervous, in fact, that you end up taking much longer than usual to get ready. As you are comparing two seemingly identical red button-downs, you hear a knock at the door. Yo! You ready yet, Chief? Yeah. Not wanting to keep Justice any longer, you throw on one of the shirts and head out to meet the demon. Alright, let's go. Lead the way then, my dude. Keys in hand, you and Justice skip downstairs and load up into the car. There's something funny about the mental image of the Helltaker skipping. But maybe he does. Maybe he does. When I was younger, I would enjoy a good skip. I don't know why. It's a satisfying way to move around. You feel a bit like a horse. The engine rumbles to life, and soon you are on the road to the hobby shop. It isn't a terribly long trip, but nevertheless, Justice is quick to fill the air with light conversation. I gotta say, I'm eager to get a feel for the infamous Taker's old stomping grounds. When was the last time you visited the hobby shop? Actually, that's a good question. I used to go to this place all the time, but I stopped going. Was it because of your little vacation in hell? The sorts of things you see down there, well, they do have a tendency to change a person. No, it wasn't that. Honestly, I stopped going to the hobby shop long before I met all of you. Oh? What happened to make you quit? It's, we're here. As if to save you from answering any uncomfortable questions, the hobby shop edges into view. Nestled in between a pair of old brick buildings, you feel a familiar nostalgic tug at the sight of the dilapidated shop. You pull into one of the many parking spots lined up out front. The sign out front, lettering over the window, reads, oh boy, I don't know if I can read this, Verigelmer Hobby Shop. I hope I got it. Ready? Yeah, but... Before Justice can finish her sentence, you hop out of the car and stride up to the front door. The demon lets out an exasperated sigh before following you inside. Your arrival is heralded by the chime of a bell, and a familiar voice greets you as you are plunged into the shop's uniquely stale musk. Well, if the place has a stale musk, that might be a good reason not to visit it for a while. But I guess that's just the hobby shop cliche, isn't it? What? Dear me. Is that really you, my boy? Oh, hey Gramps. Yeah, it's me. Why, I never thought I'd see you walk through those doors again. And yet here you are. Hey, yeah, here I am. How I've missed you, son. It's funny you should show up, though. Why is that? Just the other day, someone was asking about you. Asking about me. It was a lady. A couple of ladies, actually. At this, the man smirks and wiggles his eyebrows. You pretend not to notice. They saw the picture of you that I keep up here and wanted to know more about it. Proudly, the old man pats the wall behind him. It's labeled Wall of Fame, and below there are several pictures with tiny homemade plaques under each. Amid the images, you spy your own photo, a little larger than the rest, near the dead center. Uh-oh. I'm surprised you kept that. But of course I did. It's my pride and joy. Gramps. So you're Taker's grandfather, huh? Oh-ho, now who's this? A friend of yours, my boy? Not quite. Our relationship is burgeoning. I mean, we are more than a bit beyond friendship, I'd say. Justice lowers her glasses and winks at you over the jet black lenses. We don't have a glasses lowering sprite, so we'll just go with the glasses raising sprite. Same difference. You can raise your glasses seductively as well. Wouldn't you agree, Chief? The forwardness of Justice's statement catches you off guard. Before you can find your bearings and reply, you hear a thunder of triumphant laughter come from the old man behind the counter. Now that's a fine young lady, I tell you what. In the midst of his joy, Gramps claps you on the back with such surprising force that you're nearly knocked off your feet. It scares me that the grandfather here is kind of like the Helltaker, but more. Like, his neck is even thicker, his arms are even bigger, he's even more top-heavy. It's like they tried to create a cartoonish version. I've never seen the Aim Desire emote with sunglasses put on before. It's actually pretty amusing. It fits well. It fits perfectly, you might say. Anyways, but yeah, the Grandpa Helltaker is making me giggle a little bit. She's confident, earnest, and gorgeous to boot. You best treat her well, son. Yeah. I plan to. Good, that's what I like to hear. Boy, it's gotta be pretty convenient having a family member work for the hobby shop. About that. Sadly, I'm not actually his grandfather. What? You're not related? but you look so similar. Though, I might as well be, given how much time he used to spend here. But, he calls you Gramps? Bah, everybody calls me Gramps around here. Anyway, what brings you guys here today? Don't tell me. Are you getting back into painting? As a matter of fact, you bet he is. Haha, well, that's great to hear. Let me guess. I have you to thank for this new development, don't I, miss? Nah, I just gave him a little nudge. The rest was all him. Well, I must say, that warms my heart to hear. Now, what can I help you find today? I imagine since it's been so long, your paints have gone bad, haven't they? Right. Now that is a pickle. A full restock on paints will cost you a pretty penny. I was afraid of that. In any case, is the wall still there? The wall? That it is. I presume you know the way. How could I forget? I must admit, it's nice to see that this place hasn't changed much. Gramps grins, and you nod before walking away. Justice quickly trails behind him. Nestled between the board games and the trading cards is the section dedicated to models and painting. I've always wanted to get into models like Gunpla especially. I ended up buying my brother a gift model to put together, and I thought, well, if he ever gets around to it, maybe I'll give it a shot. But neither one of us have given it a shot. We're both too busy, unfortunately. One of these days we'll try to put it together. Maybe. It'll be there waiting. Rows upon rows of boxed sets lay before you, a veritable cornucopia of tabletop figurines. And in the midst of it all lies the wall. The wall, a literal monolith, towers before you like a technicolor wave. To call it a rainbow would be an insult to not only its magnificence, but also to the sheer number of pigments it contains. For a while, you find yourself awestruck, perhaps a little overwhelmed by the sight. Even Justice, who has stepped forward to inspect the wall with her fingertips, is utterly stricken by its size. Holy cow! What kind of obelisk is this, Taker? I didn't know you humans could even see this many colors. I'm almost certain that we can't. And yet, there's so many of them. Every pigment known to humankind. And some known only to shrimp. I don't even know where to begin. It's so overwhelming. Whoa there, big guy. Don't zone out on me just yet. There's so many colors. Yeah, Helltaker, the palette he's used to is pretty much just white, black, and red. The palette of all of Helltaker. And here we have blue, green, purple, orange, pink. Stay with me now. Let's think about this, yeah? Remember when we were talking about all this the other day? Yeah. You went through the different paints with me then. And you mentioned a few of the staples that are used most often, right? Right. What were those? Shades, metallics, and base coats. Alright, good. Let's go from there then, shall we? Okay, yeah. You turn to scan the wall for the requisite paints, and find that your eyes are quickly drawn to the base coats first. Here we go, base coats. You step forward and begin to load up your hands with numerous tiny bottles. Okay, metallics next. Yeah, here's some. You grab some more paints, filling your arms. In your haste, some of them escape your grasp and clatter to the floor. Justice is quick to pick them up and sidles up next to you with her arms open. Here, just hand them to me. I'll hang on to them for you. Thanks. As you pluck paints off the wall, you pass them over to Justice, who begins to ferry them over to the counter for you. Before long, you have a nice little pile of paint bottles ready for purchase. I get the sense that whoever made this visual novel must be a bit of a fan of models themselves, because it feels like every time we get to one of these parts of the story, they're very meticulous about the love of the hobby. It seems like the sort of thing a real hobbyist would write about. Alright, that was the last of the shades, right? Yep. What's next? Well, now I need to think about what colors I'm going to use for the main body of my figures. That's easy. What's your favorite color? Red. But I think I want to try something different. Ah, I see. Well, I could tell you my favorite color. Is it not also red? You're wearing red too. I just assumed it would be red. You have a favorite color? Oh, also she's blind, so I guess, I don't know. I guess she saw at some point, so she kind of knows what colors are, I assume. Of course I do. I wasn't always blind, remember? Right. So what's your favorite, so what's your favorite color? Yellow. It reminds me of the flower fields from when I was a little demon. I don't believe that yellow exists anywhere in hell. Come now. We saw hell, and I don't remember any yellow being there. I wasn't exactly supposed to visit them. But I also didn't exactly listen. There are flower fields in hell? Just one. And it's more of a meadow, really. Some mortals believe it's only filled with asphodels. This sounds a little bit like Undertale. There's the big patch of yellow flowers there. But that isn't true at all. In reality, it's filled with all sorts of flowers, in rows and bunches of every color you can imagine, stretching from one horizon to the next. I spent a lot of time in that place. Sure, it was no paradise. But when you're a kid in hell, it might as well be, you know? Anyway, I like the sunflowers the most. And though it's been 1,000 years or so, I can still picture their bright yellow petals. I see. Yellow it is, then. You turn your attention back to the wall and begin to seek out the yellows. Justice, meanwhile, squeezes your arm affectionately before heading off to drop the last of the paints onto the counter. Is that the last of it? Though you're on the other side of the shop, thanks to the emptiness between you and the counter, you are privy to the conversation between Justice and Gramps. Not quite, but almost. I see. Good, good. The old man nods in your direction. It's nice to see him again. Has it been that long? A number of years, at least. What happened, if you don't mind me asking? I'm afraid that's not entirely my story to tell. It's his. I take it he hasn't told you much. No, he hasn't. Give him time. If he hasn't told you yet, I'm sure he will someday. I can see that he trusts you a great deal already. And for good reason, it seems. What about that picture of him you have up there? Can you tell me what that's for? Now that's a fun story. A bit of a long story, mind you. But from the looks of our friend over there, I'm sure you've got some time to kill. I'm guessing you're right about that. Now, where to begin? First things first, it's important to know that this is my shop. I've owned and run it since I was about his age. My own dad passed it down to me when I got old enough, and it's been in my name ever since. There's not a lot of money in running a hobby shop, of course, but that's also not why I do it. Even so, I ran into some financial troubles a few years back. It was looking like I'd have to close up shop for good before long. What happened? That young man is what happened. When he caught wind of what was going on, he jumped in to help right away. He rallied up all the other regulars in the shop, a bunch of figurine painters like himself, and convinced them to set up their workstations here in the shop. Then he printed off a bunch of flyers saying that people could come in and have their painting commissions done on the spot, and that all the money would go to helping the shop stay open so that these wonderful artists would have an easy way to get the supplies that they need. How many people showed up? Frankly, miss, I lost count. All I know is that in a couple of weeks, I had enough money to pay off the shop's debts and then some. It was remarkable. All those kind people worked so hard to keep me afloat, and I don't know if I'll ever repay them. But none of them worked quite so hard as that young man right there. He may not be the best artist out there by a long shot, but he was right there with the rest of them, painting his heart out. Even after everyone else went home, he stayed behind, fulfilling commission after commission. Most folks came by just because they liked his determination. In any case, that's why his picture's up there on my wall. Him and all the others who saved my father's shop. My only regret is that the most I can offer them is a meager discount on painting supplies. It isn't much, but I hope it's enough. Wow. I had no idea. I'm not surprised. That boy's not one to brag, really. He's got a mind to accomplish what he sets out to accomplish, and that's that. Once he has a goal, he'll go to hell and back to make it happen. Heh, don't I know it? Well, thanks for telling me all this, Gramps. I should probably go check on him, though. Make sure he hasn't gotten too transfixed by the wall. It'll get you. A moment later, you feel Justice at your side again. She loops her arm around yours and brushes her fingertips against your skin. How's it going over there, Chief? I think I'm ready. Alright then, shall we? Yeah, let's go. With Justice leaning affectionately against you, you make your way up to the counter. However, just before you arrive there, something catches your eye, and you drag the procession to a grinding halt. Whoa, what's with the sudden brakes? You don't reply right away. Instead, finding yourself so stunned into silence that you can't muster the words. On the shelf behind you sits an enormous set of figurines of all kinds. It's so elaborate that it would take 2 weeks just to put it together, twice that to paint it all. Without tearing your eyes from the box, you reach into your pocket and withdraw all the cash that you brought along with you. What is it, Taker? It's... You do a little mental math in your head to see if the set fits into your budget. Too expensive. Your shoulders sag at the realization. You feel Justice step in front of you to lift the set off the shelf. Whoa, this thing is a beast. You're sure we can't afford it? I'm afraid not. Rats. Even if you put back some of the paints? You look down at the yellow pigments in your hand. Sure, you could put some of them back, and it would give you just enough to be able to buy the set. But then you wouldn't be able to fully paint a set of Sunflower Nights for Justice. And since it's thanks to her that you're even here at all, you can't help but feel you owe her at least that much. So you decide to hang on to the paints instead. No, I'd rather hang on to the paints. I've got plenty at home to paint anyway. Maybe we can get it some other time. Justice nods and heaves the box back onto the shelf. Without further ado, you approach the counter and prepare to pay. As Gramps is ringing up your things, you catch sight of your picture on the wall and are reminded of what the old man said earlier. Hey Gramps, I was wondering if you could tell me a bit more about those people who came in and asked about my picture. Well, sure, I suppose. What would you like to know? What did they ask about? Responsible spending on your hobbies? Impossible. Oh boy. As a guy who wants to get into figure collecting a little bit, although I'm mostly interested in like pre-built figures, mostly Nindroids. Yes, it's an expensive hobby. You can easily break the bank if you're not careful. But look at Helltaker with his responsible spending. What a paragon. What did they ask about? Nothing out of the ordinary, just your name and about your time here. Could you tell me anything specific about their questions? Afraid not. My mind doesn't quite work like it used to. Huh. Can you at least give me an idea what they looked like? Now that I can do. They were really distinct, if I recall. All but one of them, that is. How many were there? 3. One real tall lady dressed like one of them punk rockers. You know, stud bracelets, leather jacket, the works. The other looked like a back alley watch dealer. And the third was unremarkable and yet oddly familiar. It sounds to me like he's talking about, what's the name of those people? Abby, Mammon, and we haven't really met the other one too much yet, but there's one that we've seen on posters. It's kind of like a punk rocker. I'm sure that's the third person he's talking about there. Or the first one, rather. I know it sounds crazy, but she reminded me of both the young lady who bags my groceries and the person who works at the bowling alley near my house. Huh, I see. Well, thanks, Gramps. It was good to see you again. You too, son. I hope you'll come back soon. Don't worry, I will. With a smile, you wave farewell and leave the shop. Outside, Justice stops you by the car. What was that about, Taker? I'm not sure, but there's something going on around here. I felt like I was being followed for some time now. What Gramps said just now confirms it. I'll fill you in on the way home. Justice nods and hops into the passenger seat. With one last lingering look at the door to the hobby shop, you two get into the car and fire up the engine. As you pull away to head home, you can't shake the feeling that someone, somewhere, is watching you. And there we have it. Justice's third date. Slowly weaving itself into the plot line. I hope we'll get to see some action scenes with Justice at some point. We got to see a little bit with Zadrada earlier. Let me take a quick drink of water and a little bit of a break, and then we'll go on to Lucifer's. It won't be a long break. I'm not even going to put up the BRB screen. I just need to rest my voice for a second. For now, simply enjoy Vitality with me. As one does. I've been meaning to remake this for a long time. I've got my old Helltaker Pog face. One of these days I'll remake it and it'll be a new animated emote. But one of these days. I need more animated emote slots for that first. It's one of those classics that has the horns just a little too far on the sides of the head. But otherwise it holds up well. Yeah, we're relaxing my voice for a little bit and listening to Vitality before we get on to Lucifer's story. I have a tendency to go a little too hard on these reading streams, and then my voice wears out way too quickly. Anyways, I hope you got something good to eat. I just had, what did I have? Leftover sandwich. Not exactly the meal of kings, but it was enough. Okay, I think that's enough of a rest break. We'll turn the old Helltaker Pog off for a second and get back to the story. Although I don't really want to continue because then I have to stop listening to Vitality. Of course, if you've played the second chapter of Helltaker, the extra one they released, that one actually has an all-new song. It's pretty catchy too. But nothing beats the classic Vitality. Okay, let's get to it. Oh, actually I can't do Lucifer's yet. Maybe I have to do Judgment's first. So, funny story about Judgment. There's a game called Guilty Gear Judgment for the PSP that I owned at one point. And in it, that guy's name is spelled without an E. And I always thought that looked so strange, but that's really the normal way to spell it, I think. So you've also got the second spelling, Judge with an E and then Mint. But I think I recently looked up and they're actually both okay to use, or something like that. But it always struck me as so strange. I'm now in the habit of spelling it without the E just because I played that Guilty Gear game back then. Okay, let's get to Judgment. The people at the Butterfly Conservatory were so grateful for your donation that you decided to make your visits a regular thing. Let's see, with E is more British, and without E it's more American. That seems right. Seems right to me. The British always add an extra E onto things, don't they? Or maybe it's that we Americans don't use the extra E that we should. Who knows? From then on, you frequently took the time to cut up a few tubs of fruit and drive it over as you're out running errands. Ever so often, Judgment joins you in the kitchen, but these occurrences are rare, leaving you with much time to yourself. You ruminate on what Justice said to you, until you find yourself able to muster up the courage to talk to Judgment about her situation. As it were, the very day you decide to ask about her past just so happens to be one of those occasions in which she joins you in the kitchen to cut up the fruit. Say, Judgment. What is it, mortal? I was wondering if today you'd like to come with me to drop off all this stuff at the conservatory. You don't have to go in with me, of course, but I thought it might be fun to swing by the park after. Maybe we could go for a walk and grab some ice cream. He's reusing his Azazel date idea. I guess you run out of ideas eventually. You can tell she's suspicious of your intentions. Nevertheless, very well. So long as I am not forced to endure the presence of those infernal fluttering insects, I will gladly accompany you. You smile, but before you can return your attention to the task at hand, you hear a rustling at your back. Did someone say ice cream? Modeus. Sorry, Taker. We couldn't help it over here. We? Modeus steps through the doorway, followed closely by Cerberus. They all crowd sheepishly in the doorway. You folks don't seem to understand the idea of a date. It's usually not a 1-on-5 affair. But then again, I guess that's what happens when you own a harem of demons. Can we come for ice cream too? Well, yes, that would be satisfactory. What is it you humans say? The more the merrier. Yay! Ice cream! Yeah. Let's just finish up here, and then we'll head out. The women all nod enthusiastically before disappearing into the living room to wait. Meanwhile, you and Judgment finish up in silence before packing everything up and taking it all out to the car. Modeus and Cerberus pile into the back seat, while Judgment sits next to you up front. With just a glance, you notice that Judgment has donned her spiked gauntlets once again. It looks like today won't go as smoothly as you had hoped. In any case, you swing by the Butterfly Conservatory and drop off the snacks you and Judgment cut up today. Then you park the car and get ready for a day at the park. Ice cream first? You look to Judgment. The demon shrugs. Sure, let's all get some ice cream first. Yay! The four of them race off towards the stand. Judgment lingers behind, and you decide to stick by her. Hey, speak your mind already, mortal. You've been acting odd today. Yeah, sorry. Well, is everything okay? Judgment glares at you. Yes. Why wouldn't everything be okay? No reason, really. It's just that... Hey, what flavor do you guys want? Do they have mint chocolate chip, perchance? Oops, sorry, I did that as Taker. Let me do that again. It's funny, I think Taker ordered mint chocolate chip earlier, too, so when I saw that, I was just assuming it would be him reading. Do they have mint chocolate chip, perchance? I don't know. Let me check. What about you, Taker? Oh, I'll take a triple scoop of vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. Got it. As Modeus races off to order the ice cream, you turn back to Judgment. Before you can continue your previous conversation, however. Hey, Judgment, they do have mint chip. Do you want a single, double, or a triple scoop? Double. Got it. Come and get 'em. Before you can so much as get a word in, Judgment shoots you a wary glance, then jogs off to join the others. Deflated, you follow along. Does anyone else have a favorite ice cream flavor that you know you should always get, but instead you end up trying new things all the time? For me, honestly, almost nothing beats like a strawberry with bits of strawberry in it. For me. But I think that I have a tendency to really try out too many flavors, really strange flavors, and so my fridge just ends up filled with tons and tons of tubs of ice cream that I'm never going to eat because they're just bizarre flavors. I've got this one like root beer cherry. I've got a honey nut chocolate, which sounds good but tastes really strange. I don't think nut really, or honey really describes the flavor. So those tubs are probably going to be there forever until I finally give up the ghost and throw them out. Deflated, you follow along. Before you know it, you, Modeus, and Judgment are walking through the park, savoring your ice creams, and watching as Cerberus races at Mach 5 through the grass. She sure finished hers fast. Did she even taste it? Surely not. She just about inhaled it, cone and all. Perhaps we shouldn't have approved 3 scoops each. But she made such a compelling argument. Compelling or not, now we have a sugar-hyped demon on our hands. She'll wear herself out eventually. The 3 of you pause to watch Cerberus run circles around one another. Just then, an idea occurs to you. Some way to perhaps get Judgment alone. Hey, Modeus, why don't you see if you can calm her down a bit? Oh, we're leaving already? No, but I figure if you start trying to get Cerberus to wind down now, by the time we are ready to leave, we should be able to wrangle her back into the car. Ah, right. Yeah, I'll try. Modeus jogs off, only barely avoiding being trampled as she approaches the demonic whirlwind. Perhaps I should lend her aid. Actually, Judgment, there's something I've been meaning to ask you about. Oh? You're finally ready to talk about what has you so fidgety today. Well, out with it. Confess thy sins, mortal. Only then can we move on to glorious retribution. No. No sin. It's about the other day. Well, about the past several days. Before you can finish your thought, you're interrupted yet again. This time, however, it's not at the hands of Modeus or Cerberus. Rather, a child has let loose a loud and mournful wail, which has brought the entire park to a standstill. You, like everyone else, turn to see a young boy standing beside his father. And clutched in his tiny fist, there is an ice cream cone, conspicuously missing a scoop of ice cream on top. This is a lesson for the kid. It's time for him to appreciate waffle cones. His scoop has fallen onto the sidewalk, and as it melts into a puddle of green goop, the father is trying desperately to calm the child, while also searching fruitlessly through his pockets for enough change to buy another. Your eyes dart to the glob of ice cream on the ground, and then to the cone held in Judgment's hand. The demon realizes at the same time as you that both flavors are the same. This realization, however, causes her to freeze. She has a little brain freeze, you might say. All eyes are on you now, given your close proximity to the unfolding disaster. Judgment turns to you as if to leave, and as she does so, you notice her glancing over her shoulder at Modeus and Cerberus, who have stopped to watch along with everyone else. Realizing that now is the perfect moment to broach an otherwise awkward topic, you put out a hand to stop her from leaving. Judgment. What I've been trying to say all day is that Justice told me about your past, and I want you to know that it doesn't matter. We're all your friends, no matter what. Myself, Modeus, Cerberus, Justice. We all care about you, and we want to see you happy. So please, don't think that you have to hide any aspect of yourself to be respected or cared for. Because I promise you that we will accept you for who you are, even if that person isn't quite so demonic. Okay? Judgment looks up at you, searching your expression with narrow eyes. Perhaps you think she's looking for a trace of falsehood in your gaze. Whatever it is, the demon finds something that causes her own expression to soften. She nods. Very well. Thank you, Taker. She turns to approach the kid, but you stop her with a hand on her shoulder. Judgment? What? You nod at her gauntlets. At once, Judgment understands and takes in a deep breath. Right. She hands you her ice cream to hold long enough for her to slip off her gauntlets. They clang against the sidewalk as she drops them to her side. Then, taking the ice cream back, Judgment makes her way over to the kid and kneels before him. At once, her voice takes on a soft tone that you've never heard before. You realize that this is who Judgment is, who she has been all along. Shh, little one, do not despair. Here, you may have my ice cream. I, too, enjoy mint chocolate chip. At this, the wailing subsides. The child, still sniffling, looks between Judgment and his father. It's alright. You can take it, buddy. This is a nice, pre-pandemic world where it's okay to take free ice cream offered by strangers. Unfortunately. This scene wouldn't go quite the same way nowadays. The kid nods and gingerly takes Judgment's can. Thank you. It's no problem. The demon smiles and ruffles the child's hair before standing. That was really kind of you, miss. How can we ever thank you? Think nothing of it. I'm happy to help, really. Judgment returns to your side, and the crowd disperses. Modeus and Cerberus run up as well. At their arrival, you feel Judgment tense up next to you, clearly afraid of what her fellow demons will think. Wow, Judgment. That was awesome. We expected you to blast him with an inferno to get him to shut up. But instead you just gave him your ice cream. We never would have thought of that. Yeah. What you did for that kid was really sweet. Judgment's face reddens at the praise. Well, I just... Thanks, guys. What do you guys say we split a sundae and then head home? Sunday! Taker, I just got them to calm down. Yeah, I know, but I have a feeling that today might be worth celebrating a bit. Well, when you put it that way, I can't turn down a sundae. Judgment. What are you asking me for? Of course, a sundae sounds delicious. You grin, and with a happy crowd of demons at your back, make your way over to the ice cream cart to grab a large-sized sundae for everyone. Man, ice cream business is booming ever since Helltaker brought his demons back. It feels like they're always eating an absolute ton of ice cream. Good time to be an ice cream salesman. As the daylight wanes, you all cram on a bench and devour the massive dessert together. By the time you finish, the evening is upon you, and everyone is full and ready to head home. I think I might have to skip dinner. Don't let Pandemonica hear that. It was her turn to cook dinner tonight. Ah, crap, really? You nod. Come on, maybe you'll feel less full by the time we get home. Cerberus begins running circles around the three of you as you head toward the car. Judgment, on the other hand, is silent. It seems as though she's lost in thought. You decide not to bring it up, knowing that she'll talk when she's ready. As you approach the car, Modeus quietly slips into the back seat, while you and Judgment... I'm sorry, skip that one. Let me see, where's the log? As you approach the car, Modeus quietly slips into the back seat, while you and Judgment wrangle Cerberus into the car. Once everyone is ready to go, you lull the engine to life and head home. Once there, Modeus and Cerberus are quick to head inside. You move to follow, but Judgment lingers behind, tugging on your shirt sleeve. Hey, Taker, can I talk to you about something? Sure thing, Judgment. Is everything okay? Everything is great, actually. I just wanted to properly thank you for what you said today. I've been struggling with my identity a lot since I left Hell. It's so different here, so much kinder, that I was starting to forget why I was acting the way I was in the first place. And so the old me began to resurface. That kinda scared me, if I'm honest. I wasn't sure how you'd react if you knew who I really was, or who I'd been. Helltaker's probably thinking, it's okay, because I planned to recruit all demons into my harem, no matter who they were. Or maybe that's being a little pessimistic. But I always sort of figured that was his modus operandi. I'm just happy to know that I was worried for nothing. Judgment looks down at the gauntlets clutched in her hands. I suppose I don't need these anymore, do I? Actually, I think you should keep them. I should? Look, I don't know if you should really look at who you were before and who you became when you earned the title of High Prosecutor as two separate things. At the end of the day, they're both you. Different facets of you, sure, but still you. What I'm trying to say is that you shouldn't have to hide any part of yourself from us. If the kind demon you used to be is still in there somewhere, and I suspect she is, I think you should let her out. But at the same time, I don't know if it's right for you to totally abandon the part of yourself that you've become as High Prosecutor, because that self is just as real. It's not outrageous to think that you can be both, so long as you feel that those two parts of yourself are genuine and can exist at the same time. Because at the end of the day, no matter who you choose to be, we will all be here to support you. Okay? Thank you, Taker. I didn't know it before, but I think that's exactly what I've been wanting to hear all this time. I'm glad I didn't burn you alive for all eternity. Me too. And I'm glad I came here to live with you, with everyone. You didn't exactly make it easy for me to make my case. You know, I would apologize if I didn't think you enjoyed yourself at least a little. Maybe a little. But in all seriousness, I hope you know how much your support means to me. I haven't felt this free or comfortable in decades, maybe even centuries. And it's all thanks to you. Well, Before you can protest, Judgment throws her arms around you. You're pulled into a warm hug that takes your breath away, and not just because of how hard you're being squeezed. Just accept my appreciation already, okay? Smiling, you bury your face in Judgment's silvery hair. I suppose. You suppose? Very well. You leave me no choice. Judgment breaks the hug and grabs you by the collar. Perhaps this will shut you up for good. She yanks you forward and meets your lips with her own. The last thing you can remember thinking is how effortlessly you melted into that kiss. Ooh la la. Finally, a smooch for Taker. He's been, 3 dates with every girl so far, and I think this is the first smooch he's got. He deserves a smooch, I'd say. Okay, what we're going to do now is take a little break. I'm going to rest my voice a little bit. And when we come back, I think we'll be able to do Lucifer's story. Hopefully. We will see, we will see. If we can't, then it might be a situation where it didn't save my previous progress from other dates. And if that's the case, I've got a backup plan. But we'll see, we'll see. For now, I'm going to take a little break. Everyone get yourself a snack. Do what you gotta do, and I will be back in just a little bit. now that we're back, let's see if it is possible for us to do Lucifer's story. It is not. That must mean that I need to get through the other stories before I can do Lucifer's. That means what I'm going to do is I'm not going to subject everyone to me going through each of these again. Instead, I want to take a little detour. I read up on how you get to Beelzebub's stories. I thought I might do that for now. Let me save this data real quick though. On my own time, I'll try to get back through those other stories so that we can do Lucifer's to wrap up some other time. But for now, let's go and do Beelzebub. So it's very tricky the way you have to get to this. There's it's almost unknown as to how the details even leaked because it's a really, really obscure method that you unlock this. So first of all, we're going to go back to the title screen. If you know anything about the original Helltaker, you'll recall that the method of unlocking Beelzebub there was actually pretty tricky as well. Not quite, it was challenging, not quite as obscure as it is here. This one is just something that's off the wall. You wouldn't even think to do it. It would be hard to stumble into it by accident. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to hit New Game. We're going to skip past some of this stuff. I'm not going to read it again because, again, we're just, we've just started a new game so I can show you something. Speaking of, and just like that, Bon Appetit. Taker, you really must clean out the refrigerator. Look at it. There are flies everywhere. Okay, let's see if I can find it. On this screen, when Lucifer says there are flies everywhere... Yeah, if you click the word flies, and then click the flies that appear here, will you clean out the refrigerator now? Okay, let me save real quick because I'm not sure exactly which is the right option here. Okay, I think it's supposed to be yes there. Hold on 1 second. Fine, I'll handle it. You've gingerly asked the Queen of Darkness to step away from the kitchen for a moment. After she does so, you grab the fly-infested picnic basket and wait. A swirling portal opens before you, casting the refrigerator in a purple hue, and sending shadows dancing up the walls of the kitchen. On the counter, a carton of eggs explodes, spattering the countertop with yolk. Bracing yourself, you step through the portal, picnic basket in hand. The familiar wave of nausea hits you like a truck as you're plunged into velvety darkness. Squinting your eyes, you begin to make out shapes. Furniture forged from darkness, and elaborate high windows made from the same are barely discernible from their surroundings. A familiar figure approaches you, clad in a deep red suit. Ah, Taker, I was wondering when you'd next visit me. That makes two of us. Do you know how hard it is to get an entire room to yourself in a house filled with 9 demons? Keeping your banishment portal a secret from them is almost impossible. You mean to tell me the rest of the demons have no clue you're sneaking off to the void to visit little old me? Not that I'm aware of. Delightfully devilish, Taker, if I do say so myself. Delightfully devilish, Seymour. What's... Good lord, what is happening over there? Aurora Borealis. That's what he says every time the portal appears. So, what did you bring your favorite fly today? Oh, you're a Beelzebub fan. I see. I like Beelzebub. She's cool. I like her mannerisms. She's very fancy. I made moon pies. Exquisite. Well, then to the banquet hall. The Queen Crimson leads you through the network of twisting halls and corridors that comprise much of the interior of her castle. There's a lot of cool backgrounds in this Beelzebub realm. So far. A small conjured light sitting in Beelzebub's gloved palm is the only source of illumination as you walk through the Stygian castle, its faint glow forcing you to walk closely behind the demoness. The castle does not seem to have been designed with conventional physics in mind. The suitcases twist sideways, doors open onto blank walls, and the curtain tiebacks hiss at you when you attempt to catch a glimpse of the inky blackness behind the windows. Eventually, you arrive at a massive pair of engraved doors. Standing to the immediate left of the doors is an aged skeleton, practically falling apart at the sockets. A tattered suit clings to the skeleton's frame, maintaining a small semblance of dignity despite its age. Evening, Walter. Master Taker, so good to see you again. It does my dusty heart well to see the lady with a gentleman companion after all this time. Up. Walter, servants should be seen and not heard. Of course, my lady, so sorry. His old bones creaking, Walter heaves the doors to the dining hall open. Beelzebub strides past him with nary a glance. You follow closely behind her, pausing only to slip the ancient skeleton a small carton of milk you'd stowed away in the picnic basket. Accepting it in silent gratitude, Walter closes the huge door behind you, somehow giving you a wink before disappearing out of sight, behind the massive monolith to Beelzebub's industrious nature. I found a Twitter account recently called Oops All Skeletons. It's pretty big, so I'm probably late to the party. But it's a pretty delightful account that just posts really strange skeleton imagery. I enjoy a good daily skeleton. Turning around, you examine the dining hall. Like the rest of the castle, it is huge and inky black, with details distinguishing one object from the next, only observable after prolonged scrutiny. The small light, a soft orange glow pressing back against the cloying darkness, illuminates Beelzebub sitting at a small table nearby. Oh, Taker, won't you come join me for a meal? You walk over to the table and examine it. It's made from the same hard black material as everything else in the void. The silverware are purely decorative, and you're pretty sure the napkins could be used as blunt weapons in the case of emergency. I'm really enjoying Beelzebub's high-heeled boots here, almost kneeling. Good boots. Well, don't just stand there. Have a seat. Thank you. You produce the moon pies from the picnic basket and divide them equally between the two of you. Your hands have barely left her plate before Beelzebub begins scruffing down her portion with reckless enthusiasm. Incredible! So tasty! What did you say were in these? Sugar, eggs, sugar, flour, and a little sugar on top. Well, they're perfect. You do know how to treat an old fly well, don't you? I'd imagine everything tastes nice after 1,000 years of primordial suffering. So it does. So tell me, Taker, what's been going on in your life that's caused you to seek out my esteemed company? Well, you relate the long and short of everything that's happened over the past week to the exiled demon, who listens to your tale with rapt attention. As your story concludes, a slight smirk creeps its way over Beelzebub's lips. Sounds like old Lucy's got plenty of troubles on her plate. Trying to take solo control of hell was a bad idea. I told her as much before she and High Prosecutor Justice cast me out. Oh well, she'll learn in time that some voices aren't as easily silenced as mine. And what about you, Taker? When the chips are down, would you stand with that imposter queen? I typically don't pay attention to the politics of hell. I couldn't even get through Game of Thrones. I'm actually a pretty big Game of Thrones fan myself. I read all the books, and they're like the only books I've read in years. But the show definitely went off the rails a little bit, but it was good for a while too. A couple of good seasons. Oh, what I wouldn't give to have cable down here. There's only so much amusement to be extracted by putting little outfits on Walter and making him act out soap operas. I could talk to Lucifer. Maybe she'd let you join us for movie night if you agreed not to cause any trouble. Beelzebub wrinkles up her nose in disgust. I'm not asking that usurper for anything. When I covet something, I take it by my own hand. How'd you get stuck in here to begin with, Beel? Lucifer loves to up the ante when she feels slighted, but she normally resorts to physical violence to get equal with someone. Well, Lucy loves to pick on the little guys, the demons and mortals that don't have the strength of will to resist her compulsion or power. She's all bark and no bite. She doesn't have the metaphysical oomph to take on an elder demon like me in a fair fight. That's why she relies on a high prosecutor to enforce her will. You still didn't answer my question, Beel. No, and I don't intend to. But I'd watch my tone if I were you, Taker. Without my portals, you can kiss any hope you have of returning to your home dimension goodbye. An awkward silence smothers the conversation for a moment. Beelzebub's implied threat hanging in the air like a cloud of blood-bloated insects. I apologize for that, Taker. You're here as my guest, and threatening you is not becoming of me as your most gracious host. I accept your apology, and don't worry. I hear a lot worse most days from Pandemonica alone. Ah yes, I remember that girl. She was still a rebellious young demon when I was ousted. But from what I've heard, however, she's settled down nicely. Pandemonica settled down? I'm getting pretty full. Do you want the rest of my cakes? Yes, please. The two of you spend another hour or two sharing stories and making small talk before you decide to leave. Beelzebub obligingly wills a banishment portal to the human realm into existence. Well, I guess this is goodbye then. Yes, do come again soon. It's always nice to have someone to talk to, and doubly so when they bring me treats. Oh, have a good night, Watcher. Thanks for coming and tuning in for a while. We'll probably wrap up after I finish this Beelzebub chapter. Or maybe I'll do something else. I don't know. Seems a little early to wrap up. Anyways, have a good one. I'm pretty sure Walter is someone. He's a servant and a skeleton. Still, maybe give him a chance. I think he'd be eager to interact with his lady beyond simple commands. I'll give it some thought. Safe travels. You step back through the portal into the mortal realm. After a brief moment of dizziness, you find yourself back in the kitchen. Taker, where the devil are you? After thoroughly considering your options, you decide not to inform Lucifer of the events that just transpired. Some things are better left unsaid. And there you go. That was Beelzebub's first date. I'm not sure. I think to get to the second one, you may have to go through all the other dates again, in which case I'm not going to do that right now. What I am going to do is make another save right here. And I will check real quick if this puts me on the second or first dates. Wait, one moment. Yeah, so basically, what I'm going to have to do is off stream, I'll get to a point where I can continue with Lucifer's story, the third date, and also where I can do Beelzebub's second date, and we'll make one more stream out of this. But right now I don't have any more content from here that I can do, so I think we're going to have to stop this one there. I do have another thing we can do though that is VN adjacent, so if you'll give me just a little bit to set up, I will happily keep the stream going a little bit longer. We're only at an hour and 20 minutes now, so it seems like a shame to stop this early. But yeah, give me a little bit and I'll get something else ready. I'll put up the BRB screen for now.